An NBA insider for Yahoo Sports. He's Chris Haynes. He joins us now in the herd, fresh off of. They usually call it. What do you got? There's no presence in there. There's no presence in there. It's quite the walk up. See, too many NBA games. He had this slow walk up where he's expecting people to take pictures of the suit. Give me your biggest takeaway of last night's Battle of LA?
Well, I think the Clippers are legit. They're real. I think, like I said, they are who we thought they were. And their record is not going to be reflective on how really good they are because, they're going to have these load management games all throughout the season. But, this is why they built this team this way, just to have so much length and versatility to be able to combat the powers of the Lakers, which is AD and LeBron James. And so I'm not going to overreact, off of one game, Christmas Day game, even though they are up 2-0 in the season series. But I just think it shows that, man, this team is legit. When healthy, I just expect the winner of the Western Conference standings, barring injuries, I expect it to come out of L.A.
I watched last night's game, and I thought a couple things. We'll get to LeBron in a second. I do think the Lakers are missing something, and everybody believes they'll likely to add Andre Iguodala. The reasoning there is Rob Pelinka was his agent, right? And they need one more guy. I think they need a guard and a combo guard. Like Darren Collison was supposed to be a Laker. He decides to retire. And so now you're working with Rondo and Caruso. They have an infatuation with Rondo I don't understand. He hasn't been a good player in the league in 5 years. He hasn't been a great asset for a championship team in 10 years.
That's debatable, Doug. I mean, he's been really good the last couple of years.
When?
Rondo, Rondo has been putting up numbers the last couple of years.
When was he good though? They were better in New Orleans when he was decent in New Orleans. Okay, he got run out of what was it Dallas, right?
Dallas, then he had the resurgence in New Orleans,
right?
And he's been solid.
He was okay with the Bulls, and then he was really good in the playoffs for the first two games against the Celtics, and then he got hurt and they collapsed.
But
how many years ago was that?
I get you, but I would agree that maybe his skill set doesn't blend well with LeBron James because typically when LeBron James team, he needs a stretch point guard type of.
It's not just that though. Look, if he can't shoot, and his numbers actually tell you he can shoot, but nobody in the NBA thinks he can shoot. He has to be Patrick Beverley at the defensive end, and he's not.
I'll give you that.
Right? The whole thing with Rondo is he's an unbelievable defender. He has statistically, every metric tells you he's actually hasn't been a great, maybe even a good defender in a long time. He lives on reputation there. And then he's not a good finisher in the lane. So it's all right, if you're not going to bring much on offense, just stand outside and shoot. You got to give me something on defense, and he's not that tenacious junkyard junkyard dog that he used to be.
Well, to your point about them needing to bring in another addition, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. The fact that I think they need more of a 3D player. I just don't think there's anybody outside of Danny Green really on that roster who's going to hit that jumper consistently and stretch the defense. Kyle Kuzma can do it from spurts, but somebody like J.R. Smith is out there. I know he's probably a red flag for a lot of GMs out there, but LeBron James has familiarity with him in Cleveland, knows how to handle him, get the best out of him. Somebody like that makes a lot of sense.
I understand. I agree with you in terms of shooting, but there's also a lack of shot creation, right? LeBron is not the same guy athletically. None of us would be if we played that many years in the NBA. Right? Is that look, we've seen him in these games, the Milwaukee game and this game. You could say groin, and I'll be all right. But when you're 34, your groin does flare up more often.
That groin is important. You want it does damper what you're able to do.
What's your assessment of LeBron? We've seen him in two big games against high-level competition in this last week.
Well, look, I have to take him by his word that he's not 100%. And I look at last night's game, and he clearly wasn't imposing his will physically on the opponent. There wasn't a lot of drives. There wasn't a lot of attacking. There wasn't a lot of pounding. And that's what LeBron James does. And, Doug, up to this week, there's been talks about him being, in the MVP race. Right. And so his play has been there, except for the last, 4 or 5 games.
Chris Haynes continues to join us. Senior NBA insider for Yahoo Sports. Used to be a reporter with ESPN covering the Warriors, and, of course, with the Cleveland Plain Dealer covering the Cavs. So he goes way back on multiple sides of the LeBron James story. Let's go to the call, okay? It was kind of a weird possession where, again, Rondo's in the game, where you're like, why is he in the game? But LeBron has the basketball, late, couple seconds left, goes up to shoot, and Rondo hits the ball out of his hands. And it appears you're going to have a timeout. It's going to be Laker ball, and we're going to find out, if the Lakers bench can draw something up for a three-point shot. They go to replay, and on further review, the ball did go off of LeBron. Is this the right call?
Well, I mean, it is the right call. I mean, it went off of LeBron's hands, and so ball goes to the Los Angeles Clippers. I think what people have a problem with is just the slowing down of the game. Obviously, this is a call. If you're looking at it just with your dead eye, you're going to say Patrick Beverley tipped the ball out. It's
going to ruin pickup. I said this in the meeting, and that we didn't have some of our guys that play a lot of pickup basketball. It's going to ruin pickup basketball forever, and here's why. Okay, in pickup basketball, whichever direction the ball goes automatically determines who we think the ball went off of.
That's
right?
True. That's true.
Right? Like if no, it can't go that way. I didn't hit it that way. Yeah. Right? Patrick Beverley hit the basketball in that direction. It went out. It has to be off Patrick Beverley. But now that we've seen on the replay that it actually went off of LeBron.
Yeah, and look, I go back and forth with the replay. Obviously, you want to get the right call on the court, but
are we going to get the right call every call?
And that's you're not. Even a replay, you're not going to get the right call every time because sometimes the refs can't find they can't really truly get it right, and so they'll leave the call the same. They leave it as is. And, it's one of those plays where it's like, dang, you want to see, no matter who you're rooting for, you want to see. If LeBron or Lakers, if they can get, see what they can do with those 3 seconds left. And, they get the chance to do that.
Is LeBron James still a top 5 player in the NBA?
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind.
You would take him ahead of Kawhi today? You would take him ahead of...
like physically right now?
Yes.
Well, since LeBron...
it's like the whole thing.
Okay, hold on. Since LeBron James is banged up right now, yes, I'll take Kawhi.
Come on.
You say it today.
All right. So you would take him for the year. You would take him ahead of Kawhi Leonard right now, not for the entirety of his career. This is what we're doing. We conflate. Do you like LeBron James? Do you love what he's been and what he is right now? It's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's 42 years old, but he's still the most successful quarterback in the history of the sport.
This might be the last year I say this, but I would still take LeBron this season over. I still
over Kawhi Leonard.
I would take LeBron this season over anybody.
Were you
right
in person
now.
Or did you watch it on TV last night?
I was there in person.
How many fingers am I holding up?
You hold them two. You got 2 fingers up.
Okay.
I realize the dominance of Kawhi Leonard. I know that boy is a bad boy, but I'm saying
he's a robot.
He is a robot. He can't be touched. You can't move him. You can't speed his game up. You can't mentally challenge him. He's his own person. But I will say this, I believe like you have to take it from somebody to be the best. I don't feel like anybody's took it.
Durant didn't take it from him 2 years in a row in the finals? Came down the court in Cleveland 2 years in a row, the exact same spot, came down and hit a 3 right in his eye. That's not vanquishing him right in front of his own people. Kevin
Durant even acknowledged himself that he thought more people would jump on the bandwagon and say he took it, and he was disappointed that narrative didn't take over.
I mean, but the reality of it is, I felt like it did, and then Kawhi. Because Kevin Durant was hurt, he was the guy. He's the guy.
And then
Giannis felt like he took it from him.
Yeah,
I don't think.
But you're saying hurt. That's what happens when somebody's hurt. Somebody else has to take over.
What do we do with LeBron's fourth quarter foul shooting?
Ooh, there's no defending that. I mean,
it's weird though because usually the older you get, those are the things that you do better.
That's true,
right? Like the athletic things you don't do as well, but your brain. Look, he wasn't a great three-point shooter. He's got that kind of awkward step back, which last night he didn't hit it, but he has become a better three-point shooter and a better mid-range shooter, and has a little bit more in his bag, if you will. But the free throw shooting in the fourth quarter, like he made the first one. The second one was like, oh, my gosh, that might not draw iron.
I was playing pickup with one of the homies from back when we were teenagers, and he couldn't shoot then. And he still can't shoot now. And I'm like, dude, what have you been doing for the last 20-something years? Like, that's your jumper is what gets better.
Right.
You don't athletically you don't get better.
I agree. So what? Like even I can make jump shots now. I don't. So what happened to what's up with LeBron in the fourth quarter? Not lack of volume.
I've covered this guy exclusively, pretty much on a daily. 2 years in a row, then periodically last 4 years. He's changed his free throw stance, I want to say about 5 or 6 times over that time frame. Yeah. He's never stuck with one thing and just, developed it. Yeah. He's always switched. So I think that is a reason. But, look, if he doesn't get that right, man, that's going to be a problem come playoff time for sure.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.